if you just take an overall glance at the work, the amount of work, the quality of work, this literary piece of art that has been created, it is stunning. I mean, it's just stunning. If you knew all of the stories of these people, if you knew Matt, and you knew that he used to be a gangster and work for the government and steal money, if you knew that Mark, his first name is John, and he actually is really close to this guy named Peter who's down there, and he writes his story, and Luke was a doctor, which it was a really weird time to be a doctor. You were really smart. It was kind of hard because they didn't have a lot of technology. Hello. And somehow he gets into this work. John, he's Jesus' best friend, seemingly. At the Last Supper, he's up in his heart. In the book of Revelations, he has this stunning vision of the future, and he's in heaven, and he's seeing angels, and he's seeing the saints. I mean, this dude did some stuff with God. Jude, it's 1 page, 2 pages, fascinating. It's fascinating that God even included all of these people. All right, do the Old Testament. The first part. Now look. God could have wrote about anything he wanted. He could have wrote about anyone that he wanted. This was strategic. He's way smarter than we think he is. See, he chose specifically to write about these people and these situations because he had a purpose in what he was writing. I mean, look, Genesis is the beginning. I think that's what the word means, the beginning. But in that book, he tells you about Adam and Eve, 2 amazing people. The fall thing gets all the attention. But pre-fall, if you study these 2 people, they are stunning. I mean, Adam is doing things with God that is like mind-blowing. He's not just saying that's a cow and that's a sheep and we'll call that one a bird. I mean, he is talking about intricate scientific details when he's naming these animals. This man was brilliant. I mean brilliant. And they're cruising around with God. You get Abraham, wonderful stories. Moses is in there. Joseph, he's great. Little guy, talked too much. Got in trouble, became a slave, rose to the top, became a prisoner, rose to the top. And like that, he is the second in command to the whole world. Come on. That's fun. Josh, one of my favorites. A lot of Joshua's in this room right now. Psalms, which is David mostly. David, he's amazing. The Chronicles are a lot of fun. There is stuff in here, the things that Jeremiah prophesies, the things that Ezekiel sees. These men and women of God have these incredible journeys. And it's all in the book. The little prophets, if you study just a little chunk of them, they have these amazing encounters with God. And he thoughtfully, strategically put it in the book. It didn't end up there because the kings got together and decided it. I had an atheist, and we were having this debate. I don't debate very much anymore. Because the power of God is way more effective in a debate. So you can just skip that stuff. But we were talking about the Bible, and his thing about the Bible was that man wrote it, right? His argument that it was written by a bunch of men and that it couldn't possibly be accurate. And my question to him was, so you can write a book and it be accurate, but God can't. Come on, dude. He's bigger than that. He can write a book. It's just a book. If you look at the diversity of the work as a whole, what you see is the author of the book is clearly trying to say something to the reader. There's clearly an intention behind his work. Ultimately, what he's trying to say to you is, I like you, and I interact with you, and would like you to interact with me. All of the people in the table of contents, if you look at them, experienced a few of the following items. They all heard his voice. They all, some, saw visions, dreamed dreams, performed themselves signs and wonders. They cast out demons. One of them was transported from one place to another instantaneously, Book of Acts. They saw oceans part, deaf people hear, blind people see. They saw lame people get healed, terminally ill people get healed at a moment's notice. They spoke in languages that they had never studied. They walked in fire, on water, with lions. One of them's shadow would heal people, and Paul could take his Kleenex and demons would jump up and leave the room. These people had stunning adventures with God. Amazing stuff. All of them. And now you have it in your hands. Why? I mean, it's in your life. It's part of your life. What's his intention? You know, in my time with Pastor Touré, I've seen him stand at this pulpit, and me personally, sitting in the congregation, I've heard him try and convince all of us that God talks. I've heard him give message after message saying God speaks to you, God wants to speak to you, God has things he'd like to say to you. But God has come to a place with this movement, with this community of people, where he is saying, okay, that part is over. Did you get it? Yeah, we got it. Good. Because we're going to move on. And the next part is, okay, God, we know that you speak to us, so now, what are you saying? And what do you want me to do with it? It's way more fun. The book, I want you to just think about God. He spent all these years developing this piece of work, and he's given it to you, and it's in your life, and he's standing there, and he's looking at you with the book in your hand. And he's just saying, what are you going to do with that? Because what he's looking for is for people to get it. Everyone in the book had one thing. They all knew him. They all knew him very well. They knew his voice. They knew his heart. They knew the way that he moved. They knew him. And he put a whole bunch of it together to say to you, you should know me too. I call it the greatest invitation the world has ever seen. You know, when you get wedding, you make those really fancy, expensive invitations. And God is saying this whole thing is an invitation for you to know me. It's a big, lavish invite to the greatest party the earth has ever known. And he's just waiting for you guys to catch it.